When you install IO Drive, you get several things. Up at the top at the menu bar, you get a menu bar application called IO App. If you open this, you'll notice that you get a couple indicators for your sync status. And if you go into the settings menu, this is where you enter your Xinet URL or IP address, your username, password, and port number. Now, once you install IO Drive, you'll notice in the favorites area, there's an IO Drive favorite. There is also a Finder toolbar contextual menu that shows you some activities you can run on Xinet files. Now, to get some Xinet files synced here, we're going to log into our Xinet server here in IO space. And we're going to go into our work in progress area, IO Drive demo. I'm going to go into the creative folder here. And I'm going to choose to sync this file to my desktop. I do that by clicking the IO Drive button, and I have multiple options. I can sync and open, sync FPO, sync to desktop, or unlock if it was already checked out. So in this case, I'm going to choose sync and open. And what you'll notice, should it happen quite fast here, is you get a notification in the upper right, shows you how big the file is, and as soon as it's synced, it opens directly into Photoshop, because that's the application I have configured for that. I'm going to make a quick edit here just by changing the season on this leaf and Command S. And just by doing that, what you'll notice, you get these three little dots, and that shows that this file is being synchronized back to Xinet. So once you get the check mark, it's already checked back into Xinet with full version control. And let's take a look. So if you came back later, and let's say you were up here and you didn't know exactly where this file was on the Xinet server, what you can do is you can highlight the file, right click, and go to Xinet Reveal. If I click Xinet Reveal, it brings it open in the browser right to the information page where I can see all of my metadata. I can add and change metadata. This is now a yellow leaf, and I can save this metadata. I can also click on my versions tab and see all the different versions that have been going in history. So here's my current version, and there's the previous one. So I have full version control. Every time I make an edit, it's storing a version for me in Xinet. Let's see what else we can do. We can also right click and go to Xinet Share. So if I click Xinet Share, I've got multiple options here. I can choose a download, or I can share just images in a browser for originals, large, and small. And what this is going to do is generate an encrypted link. So you can set how long that link is valid until, and how many times you're going to allow that download or view to happen. In this case, I want just once for a download. I'll copy my share link. I get a notification that it's been copied to my clipboard. And if I open a new browser window and paste, you'll see the encrypted link is here. And if I put that in an email or in a Teams chat or a Slack notification and then send it to someone, they click it and it automatically downloads it right into their computer. You can also, with Xinet Share, just share a browser view. You can say original size, large or small. In this case, I'm going to choose large. Yeah, they can download it up to 10 times. I'll click copy share link. And again, just go to the browser, paste the link in, and then the browser shows you the large image here. So very easy to share files with IO Drive. All right, now that we have got our feet wet a little bit, let's go into the IO Drive demo folder. And I'm going to go into this photography folder. And now I'm going to synchronize the entire folder to my desktop. So I'm going to choose sync to desktop. When you choose that on a folder, it tallies up and tells you the entire size of the sync. In this case, 13 megabytes. And then you see that the folder shows up and then all the files within it are synced to your desktop. Very fast way to interact with multiple files. So here I could easily just open these three images in Photoshop. And let's say I'm just going to turn these mostly to black and white. Well, this one I'm going to colorize. And this one, yeah, a little more subdued, or actually I'm going to make it more of a sepia. Okay. And you'll notice that as I was working and saving those files, they were syncing back to the Xinet server. So these are all now synced back to Xinet. There are a couple things I can do. If I wanted to get back to that photography folder, I can also click on folder and go to Xinet Reveal. And that takes me right to the folder where I can look at those files in Xinet and interact with those. I can add them all to the basket, batch apply metadata, do all sorts of things. But what else can I do in IO Drive? I could choose all 5 of these files, right-click, and go to Xinet Workflow. When I click on Xinet Workflow, now I'm presented with workflow options, and these are configurable. These are essentially Xinet hot folder workflows that you can configure to go to the printing queues or to custom scripts, like I've got a couple here, where I can get 1080 JPEGs, 2400 pixel wide JPEGs, RGB TIFFs, or even go into PDF OPI workflows. So I'm going to choose the 1080 JPEGs and click OK. You get a notification. We should see it here in a moment. It says Xinet workflow started, 5 items in queue for 1080 JPEGs. And what's happening is those files are already on Xinet. So it's just instructing Xinet to run these through the process. And what you'll notice is that now I'm getting notifications that things are coming back to me. And I get this orange folder that says 1080 pics. That's my output folder for that process. And what we're going to see here, if I open this, is that all of these files show up, and these are now all 1080 pics wide. So just very quickly, I was able to generate the hero images that I need for my blog. So very fast with IO Drive. Now, another thing worth showing here is that when I'm in this creative area, I can create a new folder here. So James's new files. And if I was a photographer offsite and I had a bunch of new photos that I needed to put into here, I can even just drag this whole folder in here. And just by dragging the folder in, you can see that it's already being synchronized up. All the files are being synchronized to Xinet very quickly and efficiently. IO Drive has no file limit sizes, so very, very large files, and you would never have a problem with that. Now all these files are in Xinet. I can also change this name, so I can say James Word Photography or selects, something like that. And now those types of changes are happening very quickly. They're not actually changing any data, they're just changing the name on the Xinet server. And I can move things around. I can move this image into this folder, and then I can move this folder into here. I can move these items around, even the 1080 pics that I've got. Maybe I want to put them also into this creative folder, so I'm just moving things from one area of the server to the next very quickly. And when you're moving things around, there's no data that transfers. It just moves very quickly on the Xinet server. So very fast operations. All right, and another thing I want to show you is how items are checked out on the Xinet server. So if I look at this photography folder, what you'll notice now is that several of these items are checked out. So this ripples on a lake at sunset. This is checked out on Xinet. So I can move this out of this folder. If I move an item out of IO Drive, that signals that this item should be checked back in. So if I refresh here, now that asset is checked back in. Likewise, Breeze and a Hair here is checked out. Another way to do this is by deleting the file. If you wanted to free up the space on your Mac, you could just delete the file. That also checks it back into Xinet, but nothing is ever deleted on Xinet. There's a cardinal rule with IO Drive that we never delete anything in the DAM. If you want something deleted in the DAM, you need to have permissions, and you would have to delete it from there. So in this case, in Marquee, we would come into our managed files, and then we could delete it from here. If I ever need to get this file synchronized back to my machine, I can very easily just find the file and sync, and it puts it right back in that folder in the location it was. So I can make my edits again. All right, in a future video, I'm going to show you another workflow for the FPOs. There's a way in Xinet to synchronize a whole folder full of FPOs only. Let's say you had very large files and you wanted to sync just the FPOs, place those in your layouts, create a thin PDF, and run it through a PDF OPI workflow. That's all completely possible with IO Drive right from your Mac. So stay tuned for the next video, and thanks for watching.